Hi, this is Jennifer from emulsifiedfamily.com. Today I want to end our series on raising a family with a chef and talking about elementary school aged kids and that phase of life. That's the current phase of life that we are in. It is summer vacation here right now. So our kids will be going back to school in September, and they will be in 5th grade, 2nd grade, and 1st grade. So we are, up to our eyeballs in this stage of life. For us as parents, I will say, especially for me as a mom, this has by far been the hardest stage, which kind of surprised me. I taught elementary school for 10 years before we had kids, and I will say that the 4th grade year has actually been the hardest for me as a parent yet. I'm going to be careful what I say in this post out of respect for my kids and my family, but I will be honest that the last year and a half has been very difficult for our family. My desire for our home, for my husband, is to create a home where he can come home to or leave from, where he can relax and decompress from work. I want our home to be a happy place where everyone enjoys being, my husband, my kids, and myself. And over the past year and a half, especially up until about 2 or 3 months ago, it has not been that. It took me a long time to figure out what was really going on and why it was happening. But our house, it was a pretty miserable place. We'd be going along kind of okay, on the days my husband works, and then he would be off, and the days were a nightmare. They were miserable. They were horrible. I know that there were times my husband did not want to be here, that he would have rather been at work. And that's a horrible feeling to know that. And while he never came out really and said that, there were a couple times that he said, I didn't come home to want to have to deal with all this, all the craziness that was going on. I spent many nights in tears begging, pleading with God to show me what it was that either I was doing wrong, we were doing wrong as parents, what I needed to do different. Was it something that he was trying to teach me, and so thus allowing us to go through this trial? But whatever it was, if that was the case, I wanted to learn it fast because it was miserable. Our home was really a miserable place. And we spent many conversations, and the conversations were always the same. We didn't know how to fix it. I was usually crying, and he was just looking and saying, I don't know. I'm not here on the days that I'm working. I don't know what's different to tell you what to change, but this, can't continue. And it wasn't until a couple months ago when we had some really big issues go on with one of the kids that I realized what it was, at least what I can pinpoint mostly to. And I've touched on it before about how I don't feel like I'm a single parent, but I realized that over the past year and a half, I was acting like that. I'm a big believer that my husband is the leader of our home. I believe that's what the Bible teaches, that the husband is the head of the household, and that we are all kind of under him, under his protection, but also under his authority. And even when he's not here, everything that I do needs to be respectful of how he would want me to be, how we want to raise our children. But with that being said, without realizing it, I was not allowing him to lead our home. I wasn't allowing him to be a dad. So what I was doing basically is when he wasn't home, we would have issues. I'd have to discipline the kids. We would do fun things. But when he would ask, hey, how was your day? I would just say it was fine and kind of told him what we did. So he was under the impression that things were going great here at home, but yet then he would have a day off and it would just be an absolute nightmare. And so he would think that it was him and what is he doing wrong. And I didn't realize that I was, by not really telling him all the stuff that was going home, I was not being totally honest with him. And I don't mean when he calls to say, oh, well, this child did this and this child did this and this is what we're struggling with. He doesn't need to hear every single time I had to discipline or instruct our child. But the overall things, he does need to know what's going on, because otherwise when he's home, he doesn't know how to support that and help that and how to, to be a dad and to work on those things with the kids. And I didn't realize that I kind of thought I was protecting him because I just wanted him to not have to worry about things. But really, instead of protecting him, I was destroying our home, really. And sorry. It was a horrible time until I figured that out, and it had to really hit rock bottom with one of our kids. So bad that at 5:30 one night, I called my husband on the phone, and 5:30, calling a chef. First thing I said to him was, I know this is like the worst time to call you, but I don't have a choice. And he had to get on the phone with one of our kids and take care of something for 20 minutes at the worst time possible to call a chef. But he did it because our family comes first, and it was at that point that I'm sorry. But at that point I realized what I had done, that I was leaving him out of the parenting, and I didn't mean to. And I confessed that to him. I apologized. And once I realized that, and I took a step back and stopped trying to control everything and trying to make everything so perfect when he was home, and I actually let him be the dad and the husband that he was called to be. And he took a huge, he really stepped in with the discipline with our kids, and it just has made all the difference in the world when he's actually been able to be a dad instead of feeling like an outsider in our home, because that's what I was making him feel without even realizing it. I wish I would have learned that a lot faster, but even if I went through that so I can make this video and cry on YouTube for everyone to see, but this is why I wanted to do a video and not write it. Because ladies, I think that we become so independent as chef wives because we don't really have a choice, that sometimes we end up leaving our husbands out of things, and we don't need to. We need to let them be a parent. We need to let them be our husband and to take care of us and to lead our home, and not always step in and try to make things perfect when they're home because we want them to relax. I know maybe I'm the only one that wants to try to do that, but so far everything I've shared on the blog and in the videos, I've never been the only one. I'm sure there are others of people that have struggled with it. And so that's why I bring my story to you today. That is what I realized was causing so much of the problems in our home, and why everyone was acting so different, because I was just trying to control everything. I wasn't letting my husband be the man that he needed to be, and I was totally getting in the way of that by not sharing with him everything that was going on while he was at work. So the last couple months have looked pretty different in our home. We still have some bad days, and they're frustrating, and a lot of times those are days when my husband is extra tired, and I know that plays a part in it. And so that's hard. Our chefs are just going to be tired, so we have to figure out how to work around that. But the answer is not to try to micromanage and do everything ourselves. We have to do whatever we can to make sure that they are feeling like they are part of the family when they are home. And chefs, even if you're tired, you have to step up and help with the kids, and especially with the discipline. You know, that's kids need a father. And sorry, I don't mean to alienate women chefs. I know you're out there, and I apologize, but I'm obviously married to a man, so I know I refer to chef as a he, and I know that that's a stereotype, and I apologize for that. So please don't think I'm leaving you out. But dads, chefs, your kids need you. And when you're home, don't allow your wife to do all the disciplining of your kids. Step in, be the dad they need you to be in charge, and your family will be a much better place for it, and your wife will respect you for it as well. Trust me. I do. I've always respected my husband, but to see him interact with our kids, to see him discipline them, just makes me love him so much more. It's amazing. I love, not that I love seeing my kids be disciplined, but I love seeing him be a dad, the dad that God intended for him to be. I love that. So Okay, so elementary age. I guess I'm going to have to turn this post into 2 parts because I kind of just told you the disaster our family was for a year and a half. So I guess next time, stay tuned for how the elementary years look different to a chef's family than, say, the toddler years or the infant years. So thanks for putting up with my crying. If you still are willing to read and listen to what I have to say after me spilling the dirty laundry of our family, stay tuned next week for another video post on this series. If you can relate to this, I would love to know that in the comments, to know that I'm not alone, because we all know that it's nice to know that we're not alone. Or if you have any questions for me, feel free to put those in the comments as well. So thanks for listening. I apologize for crying on the video, but hey, that is life, and that is my life that we're living here. So thanks, and I'll see you next time.